Exhaustion model, energy is converted from chemical/nuclear potential into kinetic energy and then lost to the vacuum as exhaust. In a warp drive, the energy isn't exhausted. Instead, the energy is used to stress the vacuum. It's more like potential energy stored in the geometry of space. The mechanical heart of the Alcubierre concept is to move the bubble. We aren't just stretching space. We are creating a gradient, a high-pressure gain behind you and a low-pressure contraction in front. Gradient is the neutral grounded space environment where virtual particles cancel each other out, even more so at superluminal recession. In physics terms, this is a specific manipulation of the metric tensor, which is the mathematical grid that tells us how far apart 2 points are. Higgs field components cancel each other out, creating a neutral zone carrier space partition. The Alcubierre surfboard analogy. Think of a surfer on a wave. The surfer isn't actually swimming, moving through the water. The water itself is rising behind them and falling in front of them. The surfer is simply riding the slope created by that simultaneous expansion and contraction. How the grid reacts. When we say space is stretching and contracting simultaneously, we are describing two different distortions of the vacuum. Front of the craft, contraction. The space grid is pulled together. Imagine a piece of graph paper being pinched. This shortens the distance the ship needs to cover. Behind the craft, expansion. The space grid is pushed apart. This pushes the bubble forward. The center, the flat region. Inside the bubble where the ship sits, space-time remains perfectly flat. The crew feels zero g-force and no acceleration, even if the bubble is moving at 10 c, 10 times the speed of light. Wetke argues that the fundamental mistake of modern physics, specifically general relativity, is treating space as an objective, empty stage, or a smooth geometric fabric that matter merely bends. Instead, his model proposes that space itself is the fundamental energy, not empty, but total energy. In his theory, there is no such thing as empty space. What we call space, or vacuum, is actually the underlying unified energetic field of the cosmos. The Big Bang as an energetic distortion. He views the Big Bang not as an expansion of space, but as a colossal initial distortion, stretching or twisting of this unified energetic field. This event set the fundamental warp density value for the entire universe. 2. The density field play, how matter and gravity arise. Wetke resolves the conflicts, the indifferences, between local planetary fields and expanding cosmic space through his concept of variable warp density fields. Matter is condensed warp density. In his theory, what we perceive as objective matter, like a planet or a star, is not a distinct entity. It is simply a highly localized, extreme concentration, or not, of this fundamental energetic warp density. This is his version of E equals mc squared. Matter is just condensed space-time energy. Gravity is the play of density fields. The force of gravity is not caused by the curvature of an objective geometric fabric. Instead, it is the natural interaction, the play, between these different density fields. A high-density field, a planet, naturally creates a gravity well in the surrounding lower-density field. Expansion as field equalization. The expansion of the universe, Hubble's universe, is interpreted as the massive, general, low-density field of the cosmos attempting to equalize or relax from the initial high-energy distortion of the Big Bang.
In the sunlit agora, Aristotle and his student pause beside a weaver's taut cloth.
Master, stones fall toward us, yet the far heavens seem to drift apart. Imagine there is only cloth. What you call stone or star is cloth tightly gathered. Dense gatherings pull upon looser threads, while broad, even regions slowly relax their strain. So gravity is knots following tension, and expansion is the cloth easing toward balance.
In the advanced Kavetsky model, propulsion energy utilized for thrust is expelled through the exhaust, allowing the ship to gain momentum and speed, but not mass. This process does not warp spacetime significantly. Quantum physics aligns with established physics principles, demonstrating that a rocket accelerating by expelling reaction mass does not bend spacetime merely because it generates thrust. Instead, quantum physics conceptualizes propulsion as a momentum exchange with a spacefield medium, permitting acceleration without the distortion of spacetime. This distinction sets the model apart from traditional warp drive theories, such as those based on Alcubierre metrics, while maintaining coherent logic. A compelling summary from the paper articulates this concept elegantly. In quantum physics, propulsion energy is expended as thrust and carried away in exhaust, producing ship acceleration without inducing spacetime curvature. Speed arises from momentum exchange with the spacefield, not from warping the metric. This innovative perspective essentially reverse engineers a variant of unified field theory. If we envision space as a grid comprised of particles like Higgs bosons that generate mass, then propulsion can be understood as the mechanical manipulation of that grid. This manipulation effectively reduces the resistance encountered in front of the vessel. By understanding propulsion in this manner, we gain insight into the mechanics of acceleration without the need for conventional notions of spacetime manipulation. This clarity allows for new explorations into propulsion technology, firmly rooting the ideas in both theoretical physics and potential applications, leading to a more profound comprehension of how spacecraft might navigate the vastness of the universe.